Hey everybody, this is Lady J. I am back. We're doing another night of talking Dr. J after dark. So tonight we're going to be talking about dealing with hairs on my face, dealing with a narcissist. I don't know if any of you have ever dealt with a narcissist before. I don't know if you know what it feels like or if you know what it's like, but I have. I have dealt with a narcissist. Before we get started, though, y'all, I need you to share the video. I need you to share. Let everybody know what we're talking about tonight. Let everybody know that we're on. This is just something that I'm going to be doing every night because the pandemic is going on. And I do believe pretty soon we're going to be going back into lockdown mode. So we really need to like sit down and have these discussions and talk about some of the things that we deal with in life. Shout out to my girl Dad. She would not let me go home, y'all. So I'm still in Delaware. I told her tomorrow I gotta go home. Okay. So she took me from the hotel and now I'm at her house. So if you see a lot of stuff behind me, that's what's going on. But tonight we're going to talk about dealing with a narcissist. I have dealt with two of them, and it has put me on high alert when it comes to dealing with people. Well, especially dealing with men. It has put me on high alert because I've dealt with two people with narcissistic behavior. So make sure y'all share this video. Make sure you let people know what we're going to be talking about tonight. If any of you have ever dealt with a narcissist before, put it down in the comments so we can talk about it. Because I really would like to find out how you feel about it, talk about what you went through. You may not agree with everything that I say. So let's get right into it. So first thing I want to say about a narcissist, what I did not understand is that a person who's a narcissist, that is a mental health issue because, and when I tell you they are able to, oh my goodness, they're able to lie in your face. I'm just telling you little things, and then I'm going to get into like the real, mental health piece about it. But they're able to lie in your face. They will do whatever it takes to make themselves happy. It is definitely an addiction. It's a form of an addiction. And they do this knowing that whatever it is that they're doing to you, they already know that it's going to hurt you. They already know that it's going to upset you. They already know that it could cause you to have a breakdown, but it is a high. So the more that they engage in that behavior, the more they're able to get to you, the more it's an adrenaline rush, and it's like a high. It's like a person who is going after their drug, or whatever your addiction may be. Your adrenaline starts to rush, and the more you start doing it, the more you get into it, the more you want to do it, and it just keeps going and going. So I want to give you some. Oh, you know what, guys? I forgot to share the video while I'm talking, but I want to give you some things to look for when it comes to dealing with a narcissist, because I want you to be aware of the people that you allow in your life. It could be male or female, but definitely if you're going into a relationship, I want you to be fully aware of the person that you have allowed to enter into your life, because every door that you open don't need to be open. Some of them doors need to be closed. And some of these people that you allow into your life need to go away. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Now, again, like I said, please, 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 please do me a favor and share the video, because it's going to benefit other people if you do. I'm just sharing it a couple more times, and then we're going to go into it. So here's the thing, everybody. Make sure you share while we're talking. A narcissistic person is really a personality disorder. Okay, did y'all hear me? It's a personality disorder. And the reason I say that is because you feel like you're dealing with different people. One day, this person could be the greatest, most lovingest person in the world, and the next day, they could just be coming away from left field, and you have no idea what they're talking about. You have no idea why they're saying what they said. And on top of that, they start making you feel like you're crazy. Okay. So, one of the signs of a narcissistic a person with I'll say a narcissistic, I call it a personality disorder. Um, they always want to be important. They feel like they are so important, okay? Everybody should love them. Everybody should want to be around them. Everybody should want to be a part of their life. Everybody should know them. When in actuality, think about the people that you've been around who are narcissists. Think about it. When in actuality, these people are very lonely. They have very low self esteem and they live through you. So a lot of times a person who's a narcissist will find somebody who has a lot going on, very, very outgoing, has a lot of friends, may have a really good job or they're able to speak and mingle in a crowd and they don't need anybody holding their hand to walk them through. Whereas a narcissist, they live in fantasy land, they live in pretend land. And so with them, it's difficult for them to be in a room with a bunch of people mingling. They will mingle through you. Your friends will be their friends. If you notice, they spend a lot of time alone. They don't like to be around people. They like to just be around you, basically. And then it'll get to a point where they don't want you around people. And we'll talk about around your friends, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Another trait, like I said, they live in a fantasy world. A fantasy world, this hair, piece of hair, sorry, is on my eye. They live in a fantasy world that supports their own delusional behavior. When I tell you they can create their own world, their own home, their own anything, and they actually believe it. So the two narcissistic people that I dealt with, it took me years and even going to school to understand that when they said to me, I didn't do that. I didn't I didn't say that. They really don't believe that they did because they live in such a fantasy world and they live in their own space, in their own world, talking to themselves. Like I said, it's a personality disorder and you feel like you're dealing with multiple people. Another sign of a narcissist, and I'm just going to give you a few. I'm not going to go through a whole lot, but I'm just going to give you a few so we can have the discussion. Another sign is that they need constant praise and admiration. They want you to tell them how great they are, how good they look. If they got their hair cut or their hair done, they want you to notice it. If you don't, that's a problem. They need that constant praise and validation. But remember what I said about the first one is that they have a real um, grandiose sense of self importance, but at the same time, they need praise. They got to have that constant praise from you. They got to have that pat on the back, that high five, all of that. And that should tell you something that if in their mind they think that they're so important and they're so high and mighty and this and that, why would you need so much praise? Why would you need so much glory and honor and you need me to constantly rub your back and tell you how great you are? They are people who really don't even understand that this is a mental health issue. They really don't even understand that. They really don't. They really don't even understand that they believe help. And if you start telling them that you think they need help or that you think that they need to go talk to somebody, they'll be upset because they don't think that's who they really are. Let's go on. They have a sense of entitlement, a sense of entitlement. And as I'm speaking about all of these things, when you hear what I'm saying, it's all about them. Everything is about them. And if it's not about them, it's a problem. Everything has to be all about them. The other thing, this is the thing that I got caught up in. They like to exploit other people with guilt and shame. If you're not following along, or if it looks like you're about to catch on to their narcissistic behavior, they start to exploit you. They have no problem. Narcissists have no problem in making up something on you and sharing it with family and friends, knowing that it's a lie, knowing that it didn't happen. But they have no problem in exploiting you or coming to you and making you feel guilty for something that you did not even do. I have been in arguments with the two narcissists that I dealt with. I mean, arguing. And I'm not even a person that argues or yells or screams, but they had me so tied up and so wrapped up that I found myself arguing about something that I didn't even do, arguing about something that I didn't even say, arguing about a place that I didn't even go to. This is what they do. Again, like I said the other night, some people know how to play mental mind games, and narcissists do that very well. Another thing is that they will frequently demean you, intimidate you, bully you, even belittle you. And some people, some narcissists are physically abusive as well. And so we're going to talk about that tonight because I think that it's important for us as we move forward and as we are going through this situation of the pandemic and going through the lockdown and all of that, that people are going to um, be coming at you with some things, and you need to know how to deal with it. And I want you to be able to dodge the bullet that I got caught twice. One was in marriage, and one I'll tell you about the other one. But twice. And they are very manipulative, but they're also, I would say for men, they can be so sweet and so charming, and that's what catches you. Let me see some of these comments that's on here. I'm sorry, I was so busy talking, I didn't even see it. Shine, she said, that's sad, girl. I think Renee said that was my ex-husband. Oh my gosh, I just got out of a relationship with a narcissistic man. And that was from Gloria. It's a mental health issue. That's definitely, yes, because and they're in denial. Yes, Shine. Actually, narcissists are the most dangerous and toxic people. Absolutely. Please, y'all, make sure you share this video. Let people know that we're on. Let them know what we're talking about tonight because this is so serious. This is so serious when you're dealing with a narcissist. And the worst thing I think that can happen is to fall in love. And I'm not just talking about men, because I'm a woman. I'm talking about women. They're narcissists. They have narcissistic women out here too. And so what I'm saying is that we have to be very careful when it comes to giving ourselves to people, giving our time, our attention, our love, our finances, everything, giving ourselves, our mind. We have to be really careful because narcissists don't care about you. They only care about themselves. They don't really care about what they can give to you. They care about what they can get from you. And as I said, the more you get into that relationship or that friendship or whatever it is, the more you get into it, the deeper you get into it, the more they're able to study you. And they will study you like a book, like they have an exam coming up. And they know exactly when to just come in. Like you could be having a really, really good day, a really good day. But they know exactly when to come in and kind of knock you off your feet because they don't want you to be happy. They don't want you to be happy. They can't stand when you're happy. They pretend like they want you to have a good life. They pretend like they want to be in a relationship with you. But in actuality, all they're doing is using you. All they're doing is taking from you. And when I say taking, I'm not just talking about, monetarily or material stuff. I'm talking about they will take your spirit. They will rob your soul. You hear me? They will rob your soul. Now, I'm telling you, Renee said I got some family members like that. And Shine said you speaking facts about that. Now you're not lying about that now. She said some narcissists will make you go off on them. So it's best to stay away from those type of people. Yes, in a few nights we're going to be talking about addicted to toxicity. We're going to have that conversation. But with narcissists, they come off as such sweet people. And when you finally catch them in something, they will turn that thing around so much that it will make your head spin and you will start questioning your own self. And I know it might sound crazy, but I've been in that situation twice. You will start questioning your own self and then start feeling bad for the narcissist and fall right back into that pattern. I remember being married and I sing. So back then I was young, I was traveling all the time and, doing what I love to do. And again, remember what I said at the beginning, narcissists normally don't have friends. They live through your world. See, they have their own private world that they've made up. They live in fantasy land, but they love the glitz and glamour of your life. They love what you're doing. They love who you hang with. And I believe they secretly wish that they were able to do that, or that they knew how to do it. But for whatever reason, they lived through you. And so I remember when I was married, and I was always traveling, and my ex didn't really like it, but he would never he would I would ask him, do you have a problem with me singing and traveling? No, no, no. Go ahead, have a good time. Have a good time. But every time before I got ready to go, he would do something. Just do the craziest thing that would just throw me off to the point where I didn't even want to go. I was so upset. I would get so depressed. I would get so sad. I would just be like, why did he do that? In my mind, I'm thinking, why would you do something like that? Another thing that happened is that I would, I'm going to church. Well, we all were going to church. And I would be every night before it's time to go to church, the night before, I would lay my son's clothes out, get my clothes out, my shoes. I got to have everything in order so I won't, be too late messing around and be late for church. There were some times, everybody, when I would get up the next morning, a shoe would be missing, my son's clothes would be missing, maybe the skirt or the jacket or the top or whatever would be missing. And I would be in the room like, I know I put this stuff out last night. Like, what the heck happened to it? Or I would buy something, take the bag upstairs, put it in the room. And you know how we get busy in the house, we start doing something else. And I would come back and the bag was missing. It got to the point, I'll be honest with you, where I went to my doctor because I started feeling like, I said, I know I'm too young to have Alzheimer's. I was in my like late 20s, early 30s. I said, I know I'm too young to have Alzheimer's, but it's something going on with my brain because I can't remember what I'm doing. Like, I know I'm putting stuff down. And when I would ask him, he would tell me that he didn't see it. I didn't see you put it down. Or sometimes he would say, I saw you put it right there. Maybe you went back and put it away. So I started really thinking that there was something wrong with me, to the point that I would get so depressed on my way to church, on my way to sing. Sometimes I just didn't even sing anymore. I just didn't do anything because I'm like, there's something really, really wrong. Fast forward, I get a divorce. I'm in the attic. In our house, we had a big house, and there's you open the door, it's like another bedroom. You open the door, and it's a long walk in attic. It's like a whole nother room. And I had stuff stored in there, so I was in there cleaning it out. And as I walked back and forth, my foot kept kicking like a plank because it was all wood floor. And it kept kicking this thing. And I'm like, what is this? So I bent down and I lifted it up. And y'all not going to believe this. Everything that I thought that I had misplaced or didn't put out was under that wood in the floor. It was a friend of mine at the house at the time that was helping me pack and move. And I'm in the attic and I'm screaming. So he came running in. He's like, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" And I said, "Look, look, 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 look." And he didn't, of course, didn't know what I was talking about. And he said, "Okay, okay, calm down. Like, what's wrong?" And I explained to him what I just said to you. And he was just like, wow, wow. Those are things that narcissists will do, because they want to make sure, first of all, they want to make sure that nobody, especially if you're in a relationship, that nobody gets you, that nobody gets your attention, or if they get you, you'll be so off kilter or so crazy that that person won't want to be with you. For years, I walked around thinking that there was actually something wrong with my brain. And at the same time, I'm a new mother. That was the worst feeling in the world. And then you have somebody sitting in your face making you feel like a fool because they're saying, I didn't see you put it out, or you did put it over there. Maybe you moved it. I don't know what happened. And they go back to doing what they do. Narcissists will do things like that and walk away, and it's a high for them. They actually feel good. They love. It's like you injected them with something. They love the fact that you're in. I'm in the room. I'm going crazy. I'm trying to figure out where it is. I don't know what's happening. They love that kind of stuff. They sit back and they're laughing. They enjoy it. And again, to some people, it may sound crazy. It may sound like something that you've, that I'm just making up, but I'm telling you the absolute truth. People with narcissistic behavior only care about themselves and their well being, and they will do whatever they need to do to feel that rush, to feel that high. Um, and if it comes at the expense of tearing you down, making you feel bad, or making you look crazy, that's what they're going to do. One of the things I mentioned in here also is that they will cause other people, family members, to go against you, friends to go against you, because they are so, what's the word I'm looking for? This, when they talk, it's like what they say is so real. It can't be a lie. This person can't be lying about that. I mean, they say it, and I mean, when they say it, it comes out like a sermon. Like you just don't even think that they're lying. And that's why sometimes when y'all see me writing stuff for my post, and I'll say something like, I went through so much. And when you deal with people who lie on you and are able to manipulate other people who know you, but this person is able to lie so good that these people actually turn their backs on you and follow the narcissist. And I had a lot of people do that to me, a lot of people who just didn't believe anything that I said, because the narcissistic people that were in my life, just what was coming out of their mouth just sounded so real. It caused a lot of pain, a lot of tears in my life. And people are just coming around after all these years to say, wow, I see what you were talking about. You were dealing with a narcissist. That person, I see exactly what you were talking about. And for me, it's a little too late because I've gone through the pain. And so I put people at a distance. I'm glad you got it. But there were real people in my life, real friends who said, I know she's not like that. I know she's not like that. And those are the people that I've kept in my circle and kept close to me. The other ones, I put them at a distance, way outside of my circle. Because, okay, we're talking about narcissists, so I'm going to leave that alone. But anyway, so when you narcissists also prey upon people who are going through things. Sometimes you're going through things in life, and you think that it's not showing, but we all have. Uh, I'm not getting my words tonight, but we all have these. I call them pheromones. Pheromones that this, we put out into the atmosphere, and we don't even realize that we're doing it. And a narcissist can sniff that out. And I'm telling you, when they come at you, they come full force. So another situation was a friend of mine that I thought was really a true friend. And we ended up going into a relationship. And it was years of hell because I didn't realize that my friend was such a narcissist. My friend was a friend when we weren't in a relationship and we were just hanging out. But when we got into a relationship, it became controlling. It became a lot of people because I'm out here in social media and I do a lot of stuff. It became a thing where I was being belittled. I was being told that I'm not as great as everybody says that I am. And people are always saying you're this and you're that, and you're really not. It became a really bad relationship. The things that I shared with this person that I had gone through in my marriage, that person turned around and did those same things to me, but in a different way. And when I tell you the patterns were the same, but it was just done, it just came at me in different ways, different times, and it hit hard. And I had to learn that, yes, Renee, controlling, manipulative, less than. And she said, "Girl, stop peeping in my own apartment." Yes, they are very controlling, and you know I've learned and I'm learning to be careful because sometimes um, we're being watched and we don't even know it. And, I'm talking to men, I'm talking to women now. Moved on to relationships. People who are looking to go into relationships. We got to be careful who we let into our life, and we have to make sure that and this is why I've been saying all week that it's important to have more conversations and more talks with people versus jumping right into the bed. We're going to get to the bed, but we have to have a conversation. I need to know more about you. I need to know what's going on up in your brain because once you allow this person, this narcissist, to come into, they've crossed that boundary line. Now they're over here. They're in your life. They're in your circle. You're exposing them to your children, to your friends, to your family. A lot of people are going to get hurt. And because of my being involved with these narcissistic people, I exposed them to my son, to my family, to my friends, and they spread a lot of mess amongst the family, amongst the friends, but they knew not to do it with my son. But amongst family and friends, those narcissists came through like wildfire and did a lot of damage. And some stuff won't be repaired. It won't. And so I've watched my friendships that I've had with close friends crumble because the narcissist came in and said, behind my back, when we're together, Charlene is always talking about you, or she's saying this, or she's saying that. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm very upfront. I'm going to tell you what I have to say, and I'm done with it. But you're going to hear from me. I don't have to talk. I don't need a third person. But they were so manipulative and so cunning that my friends believed it. And it broke the friendship. And I was like, wow, this is what narcissists do. And Renee said it requires therapy before the relationship happens. Absolutely. And so when you're dealing with a narcissist, don't think that you're going to be able to heal the person because a lot of people realize as they get further into the relationship that they're dealing with a narcissist. But that narcissist will have you so wrapped up in loving them, catering to them, making sure that they're good, praising them when they don't need to be praised. They will have you doing so much for them that you forget about yourself. You forget about taking care of you. You you forget that they've made you feel bad. You forget that they've taken so much from you that you're feeling drained. They will continue to take and take and take. And at some point in time, you're going to have to let go. They're not going to let go, but you're going to have to let go. And you're going to have to let go, walk away, not look back. They can cry, they can kick, they can scream, they can fall on the floor, they can shout, I'm going to commit suicide. You keep walking forward and let them see the back of your head. Crazy as it may sound, the person that I was in a relationship with cheated on me 6 times. 6 times. And each time, I'm not talking about my ex, I'm talking about the other person. Each time we would get into a knockdown, drag out argument. I argued with this person more than I ever argued with my ex because we didn't do that. And each time he would come up with this grandiose story about, well, if you were doing this, if you were doing that, I wouldn't have went over here. And he would be so convincing that I would be like, okay, maybe you're right. Okay, let's try to work this out. Let's try to talk about it. We're going to get through it. Doesn't that sound crazy? But we get so caught up in their world, in their drama, and all of their craziness. We get so caught up in it that we start accepting the craziness. We start accepting the drama. We start accepting the toxicity. We don't even know what's going on, you know? Be very careful, because if you see things and they start off not looking right, or that person is starting off not saying things right, that's a red flag. Don't let the flags pile up. Fold that flag up and leave. Matter of fact, don't leave. Run. Okay? Run. And don't look back. Run in the other direction and don't look back, because they mean you no good. No good at all. Narcissists are callous. They're very callous. And they will do whatever they have to do to make themselves feel good, to make themselves look good. Left alone, you would see they have no life, they have no friends, they have no ambitions. They live through you, and they will destroy you in the process. And some of them will destroy you and keep moving on to the next person. That's what they do. They are aggressive in their behavior. They want what they want, and they want it now. So whatever it's going to take to get you to stop what you're doing, to turn around and focus on them, to turn around and argue with them, they will start an argument. They will create an argument just because they want to get your attention. If you notice, and tell me, hey, tell me if I'm wrong, but I've dealt with the narcissistic behavior. They will start an argument, get you fired up where you might be arguing, cussing, fussing, ready to fight, and they're just sitting back looking at you. They're just sitting back looking at you. And they may say something like, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry. That was a high for them, to see you go off, for them to be able to push your button and get you to act crazy. That's the life of a narcissist. That's how they think. That's how they think. And don't, like I said, don't think that you're going to be able to go in and change them. They need help. Some of them need to be committed, because they need to get some work done. My last friend, like I told him, you need to be committed. But I'm watching him now, and he has really come in and swooped up a lot of my friends. So I pray for my friends, because they don't even know what they're getting into. But I see that they are so trapped right now and so in love with him And I pray for them because they have no idea what door they open. And like I said, some of the narcissists are physically abusive. They will be physically abusive. I didn't have to deal with that. I dealt with the mental abuse. But they will be so physically abusive that they will make you feel like you deserve to be hit. You deserve to be punched. I wouldn't have punched you if you were doing what you're supposed to do. And they will have you believing that you deserve this type of behavior. They are master manipulators. A lot of them are very smart, very intelligent, but they use their intelligence in the wrong way. They use their intelligence to work on other people's intelligence and to break them down. It's a game, everybody. It's a game. Do they really love you? I would say no, because when you love somebody, you don't treat them that way. You don't. And I do know people who are narcissists, they understand that they are, and they are getting help. Some of them are on medication because of their behavior, some behavioral disorder. And so they are getting the help that they need. And shout out to them. But then you have people like um, people that I've dealt with who say, I don't have no problems. I don't have any issues. And for those people, walk away. Walk away. Um, the other thing I would say, and again, like I would say about the narcissist, they can't really love you, so don't look for that. And I hate to say that because some of you probably feel like they love you, but they don't. I was just looking at some more of my notes. Oh, this is another thing that narcissists do. Narcissists love to play the victim. They are always the victim. They are never the problem. They are the victim. And you are the one that's causing the problem. You are the one that's creating this scenario and this behavior that you're talking about or you're complaining about. It's you. They are always and forever the victim. And so when you're dealing with narcissists, the best thing that I can say to you is to walk away. Walk away. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. As I said, me personally, I've dealt with narcissistic behavior. And as I've been saying all week, you live and you learn. You live and you learn. And so don't come down hard on yourself. Don't feel like you're just this dumb, stupid person for falling into it. No, they are very good at what they do. And they will love you and, make you feel like they're going to give you the world. And they will sometimes make you feel like you're on top of the world. I had someone propose to me on top of at the Twin Towers. And what was so funny is that they proposed to me while we were in the Twin Towers, had dinner and all of that. And actually, to be honest, the people in the restaurant knew what was going to happen. I walked in and I didn't know what was going on. I just thought we were taking a trip to New York. And we were eating, and all of a sudden, the man comes out, and he has the ring on a platter, and he has my favorite desserts on the platter, this big, huge platter. And in the middle of the platter, there's a plate that says, on it, it says, "Will you marry me?" with a big ring on it. And I'm like, wow, oh my goodness. I'm all excited. And I was like, okay, because everybody in the restaurant is clapping because they all knew what was going to happen. And even though I said yes because everybody was clapping and the waiter was happy and they were snapping pictures, but I knew that once we got out of the towers that we were going to have a conversation. So I just said yes to, to appease everybody. And we had taken the bus or the train up there, I think. So we were talking on the way back, and he was just telling me I'm a changed person. I got my life together. I finally realized that I really want to be with you. I've never given anybody a ring, but you deserve it. So I'm going to, this is for you. A week later, we're coming from a restaurant. And it was probably around this time, around 11:30, midnight. We had been out with friends and we're coming from a restaurant. He's taking me home. And the phone rings in his car. And I'm wondering, like, why is somebody calling you at midnight? And he's like, oh, that's my friend. I'm not going to say the friend's name, but, that's my friend. And I think he had forgotten that I had his friend's phone number too. So I look in my phone real quick and I'm like, that's not his phone number. And so he hit the button, person called back. He hit the button again, person called back. So when he hit the button the third time, I kind of touched his hand and I said, hello, hello. And the person was a female saying, who is this? Who is this? And I'm like, well, who is this? And he hit the button. I got out of the car after he dropped me off, went upstairs and got his ring, and I put it on the porch. I just told him, just take it. We're done. Just take it. And he came back over a couple days later, knock, knock, ringing the bell. So I go open the door. He's telling me how sorry he is. He has a bunch of roses because he knows that I love roses. A bunch, like, I don't know how much he spent on these roses. A bunch of roses. I'm so sorry. Let me tell you what happened. He was seeing somebody else. This person also thought that they were in a really tight relationship that would lead to marriage. This is a week after he gave me a ring. That was an adrenaline rush for him to take me to the top of the Twin Tower, have all of this stuff going on, real grandiose, all of this stuff going on. Everybody in the restaurant knows what's going on. They think he's great. He's wonderful. Have all of my favorite desserts. And he just had everything laid out. That was a high for him. That day was not for me. That was for him. That was for him. And probably after he dropped me off that night, he probably was talking to the other female on the way home. That was for him. That's what narcissists do. It didn't matter, whether he knew in his brain that he was talking to somebody else. And then I found out not only that person, but it was another person at the same time. And at the same time, people around me think that he's wonderful, except for a few of my friends. But for the most part, everybody's like, Charlie, he's so wonderful, he's so this, and he's so nice, because he was able to put that out into the atmosphere. So listen, guys, all I want to say is this. We're living in really serious times. And because of the pandemic, because of things that are going on, people are dealing with loneliness. People are dealing with the fact that they haven't been able to be in close proximity with family and friends. Some people have stopped dating, because of this pandemic. And people are just flat out dealing with being lonely. And so they're allowing people to come into their lives, in and out of their lives. And you're jumping into some of these relationships too soon. Take your time. There's no rush. There's no rush. It's easier when you take your time, when you get to know that person. Then you can make a decision about whether or not you really want to keep them. If that's the person that you need to, even if it's just for friendship, is that the person that you need to have around you and your children and your family? Is this the person? You gotta ask yourself those questions, because sometimes it's better to just be by yourself until the right person comes along. Learn to love the skin that you're in. Learn to love you. Do self care. Do a self analysis. You're feeling lonely. Okay, what can you do to work on that loneliness that you're feeling? What can you do? Even though the pandemic is going on, what can you do? Get a book, write it all out. I'm feeling lonely. This is why I'm feeling lonely. This is what I would like to do. You could even write in there, but I know I shouldn't do it. So this is what I'm going to try to do to work on my battle with loneliness. I've met people who are hurting because they're saying, you know what, I haven't been held in so long. I haven't been in a relationship. I'm just tired of being by myself. And I understand that. I definitely understand. I'm single and I'm always figuring out ways to um, get through life, because nobody likes to be alone. Nobody likes to um, not be held, not be hugged. But you got to be careful. And you can't be so anxious and so sad and so lonely that you just let anybody come through the door. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Guard your temple, guard your mind, guard your spirit, and know that when you begin to do those things, you will attract the right people. Because once you're whole, mentally and physically and spiritually, and once you've worked on you, and when you continue to work on you, you start seeing things, and you start understanding and knowing what you deserve. You start um, knowing what type of people should be around you. I mean, you start realizing what type of people should be around you, who should be allowed in your circle, who should be allowed to meet your family, your other friends, your children. You begin to realize that. And when you do those things, that's the greatest gift that you can give to yourself. That's the greatest gift that you can give to yourself. And that's to just say, I love myself so much that I will never, somebody said, get a dog. And I did do that. But you must love yourself so much that you say, I will never put myself in that situation again. I will never allow anybody to come into my life and make me feel like I'm less than who God created me to be. I Listen, you have the right to be happy. You have the right to enjoy life. You have the right to go out and do whatever you want to do. What makes you happy? What fulfills you? When you allow people to come into your life and snatch up those things and totally take over everything about you, some of them are so controlling that they tell you how to dress. What This doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. Other people might say you look beautiful. They may tell you that looks a mess on you, or you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't do that. When you begin to love who you are and you understand who you are, you will set certain standards and certain boundaries that no one will be able to knock down, that no one will be able to cross. the aura will come off so strong that they will understand that's not the person I should play with. That's not the mind that I should mess with. And some of them are so slick though, they might try. They might try. But that's why you got to be on your A game. So everybody listen, my name is Dr. J. Tonight's talk was about the dealing with a narcissist. Male, female, friend, family, your children. Listen, I don't care who it is. Make sure that you're clear about what you're going to allow and who you're going to allow to come into your life. Make sure you're clear about what you're going to digest. Because, see, I don't eat everything. I don't eat everything. Just as we are picky about our food and what we like to put on our plates, be just as picky about the people that you allow to be in your life. Because they can impact you for a lifetime. And there are people, unfortunately, who have taken their own lives because of dealing with a narcissist. And they never understood that it wasn't them. It was the person that they were dealing with. And so this is why we had, this is why we're having this talk tonight. And we'll continue to have talks every night to discuss some of the things that we're dealing with. And we're going to talk about things that my apologies, everyone. My for some reason this went out. I don't know, but anyway, I was about to end anyway. But I just wanted to say to you to please make sure that you share this video because there are a lot of people out right now who are dealing with people who are narcissists. So please make sure you share the video. Let me just make sure that I want to make sure that I acknowledge everybody's comments. Um, you're welcome. Renee says, thank you for this. Hey, Coraline, how are you? Renee says, yes, couldn't wear splits and dresses, couldn't wear certain outfits, couldn't have friends. No friends could come over. He was a true narcissist. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for your transparency in saying that. And before I go, I want to say to you all that uh, as we have these talks, never be afraid to tell your story. You know, people are going to tell you you shouldn't say certain things, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't be talking about that. But here's the bottom line, it's your story, it's your experience. People have told me, and they tell me all the time, you shouldn't talk about that, you shouldn't say that. But I always tell people that there's a way to tell your story without calling anybody's name. Now, the person will know that you're talking about them, but there's a way to tell the story without calling anyone's name. And it's your story. A lot of times when you write things out, as I do, I write out how I feel. And there are times when I'll get in front of this camera and say how I feel. When you do those things, it's freeing for you. It's therapy for you. And it will make you feel so much better just to get it out, just to get the weight out. So it's not to whatever I've said tonight, it's not to um, put those people down because guess what? I could care less about them right now. I'm working on me. And so I'm dealing with my healing. Whatever they're doing right now, that's up to them. I pray that they're not manipulating anyone else, but that's up to them. But as for me, I'm going to continue working on my healing, telling my story so that other people will never have to deal with what I went through. I didn't even talk about some of the stuff that I went through. I didn't. And there are some things that I won't ever talk about that I've gone through. I'll take it to the grave. That's how serious it was. And so, anyway, you guys have a great night. My name is Dr. Lady J. I will be back with you again, and we'll be having another discussion talking about the things that we all think about that we go through, but most people don't want to talk about it out in the open because, of the nature of it. So, we're going to talk about it on here, but make sure the kids are in bed because this is a no kid zone. All right. Have a great night. Be safe, take care of you, love you, embrace the skin that you're in. And remember, there's nobody like you. You are the only one on the planet who is like you. So take care of you. Don't wait for anybody else to do it. All right, guys, have a great night.